Have you ever wondered why you keep attracting the wrong people into your life? You may have experienced the pain of heartbreak, only to find yourself in similar situations again and again. It's frustrating, right? But what if I told you there's a deeper reason for this pattern, something far beyond mere coincidence? In this video, we're diving deep into the psychology of relationships and how unconscious patterns shape the way we connect with others. You'll discover why your most intense attractions often reveal hidden aspects of yourself that need healing. If you've been struggling with toxic relationship cycles or emotional dependency, this video will help you break free. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to spot the subconscious beliefs that lead you into unhealthy dynamics, how to shift your perspective, and how to stop repeating the same painful patterns. I'll share practical tips on setting boundaries, creating self-awareness, and making conscious choices in your relationships. This isn't just about finding the right partner, it's about transforming how you approach love so you can build healthier, more fulfilling connections. Stick with me until the end, and you'll learn the keys to unlocking love from a place of freedom, self-love, and deep emotional strength. You don't want to miss this. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Let's dive deeper into the powerful and transformative concept of relationships. These connections in our lives are not mere happenstance. They are more profound than we often realize. The people whom we find ourselves drawn to, or conversely, the ones who seem to push our buttons the most, are not random encounters. They are reflections of something within us that we have not fully addressed, acknowledged, or healed. Take a moment to think about the last person who stirred up strong emotions inside you, whether it was love, admiration, frustration, or even anger. Do you see this person as merely a fleeting figure who wandered into your life? Or could it be that they hold a deeper, symbolic role in your journey? In my experience, relationships act as mirrors, constantly reflecting to us the unresolved aspects of ourselves, the parts that yearn for our attention. For instance, perhaps you've noticed that you're often drawn to individuals who make you feel insecure, or maybe you find yourself getting irritated by people who possess traits that you consciously or unconsciously despise in yourself. It's as if life is trying to show us something, urging us to look within and understand why we feel the way we do. So, why is this important? Well, my friend, it's crucial because if we keep ignoring these emotional triggers, we will continue searching for love and connection in all the wrong places. The real question we should ask ourselves is not, why is this person behaving the way they are, but rather, what is this person revealing about me, about what's happening deep inside of me? This law of relationships, where people act as mirrors to our inner selves, is far deeper than what it might initially appear. When someone triggers a strong emotional response from us, it is often a projection of our hidden shadows. Those intense feelings, whether they are of love, attraction, frustration, or even hatred, are simply telling us something about our inner world. Pay close attention to the recurring patterns in your relationships. Do you find yourself constantly attracted to people who exhibit certain traits? Or do you find yourself avoiding specific types of individuals altogether? Both reactions are significant, as they reveal truths about what's going on inside of you. Think about this. Attraction and rejection are not opposites, as they may seem. They are two sides of the same coin. They are both expressions of your inner self. Even if someone seems irresistibly attractive to you, I urge you to ask yourself, what is it about this person that draws me in? Is it a quality that you admire, but have not yet allowed yourself to express? Maybe you're captivated by their spontaneity and free spirit because you live a life that feels overly controlled and structured. This is a sign of something you're longing for within yourself, something that needs to be nurtured and allowed to grow. On the flip side, the things that annoy or anger you in others can also provide valuable insight into your own shadow. For example, if someone's arrogance irritates you, could it be that there is a part of you that secretly struggles with feelings of superiority? This is a challenging but necessary question to ask yourself. We often project onto others the very traits we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves. The beauty of this awareness is that it empowers us to take responsibility for our emotional responses and, in doing so, begin the healing process. True self-awareness, however, demands brutal honesty. Are you truly ready to see the parts of yourself that you've kept hidden or suppressed for so long? Because it is in the act of facing those parts, the parts of you that make you uncomfortable, that real healing can begin. The individuals who challenge you the most, who stir up the strongest emotions, are often your greatest teachers. The person who drives you up the wall could very well be the one showing you the wounds that are still waiting for your attention. The people who seem to trigger the deepest emotional reactions are often karmic mirrors meant to guide you toward a deeper understanding of yourself. These encounters are not mere accidents. They are designed to help you grow. As you begin to see these interactions as opportunities for self-discovery, you'll realize that the dynamics in your relationships are far from random. They are opportunities to learn, heal, and evolve. But if you don't recognize this, you will continue to attract the same kinds of relationships over and over again until you learn the lesson that they are here to teach you. And remember, just as others reflect you, you are also a mirror for them. Their reactions to you are often a reflection of their struggles and unresolved issues. When you embrace this understanding, you can approach your relationships with far more compassion and grace rather than defensiveness or anger. This awareness has the power to transform not only your relationships but your entire life. When you realize that the outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world, the process of true transformation begins. It's not just about recognizing patterns, it's about transforming them. Once you understand the aspects of yourself that are reflected in a challenging relationship, you can begin the healing process by consciously integrating the parts of you that have been repressed or neglected. This is not an overnight process, and I want to emphasize that. Healing takes time. It requires patience, self-compassion, and an open heart. As you embark on this journey of self-awareness and integration, you'll start to notice something profound. The people who once triggered the strongest emotional reactions in you will no longer have the same power over you. You will no longer be controlled by your emotional reactivity. The healthiest, most fulfilling relationships come when we've done the inner work to heal and integrate all parts of ourselves, the parts we've rejected, the parts we've hidden, and even the parts we haven't fully expressed. As you heal and grow, you'll start attracting people into your life who reflect the healed and whole parts of you. No longer will you seek validation from others for what's missing inside. Instead, you'll form connections that are based on mutual respect, love, and abundance. This is when true love can manifest. True love comes only when you can love from a place of wholeness, not from a place of lack. When you no longer feel like something is missing from within you, your relationships will become spaces for growth, not emotional dependency. I want you to pause and reflect. What parts of yourself do you hide from others? What do you dislike about yourself? This is your shadow, the part of you that you have not yet accepted. As long as you continue to reject it, you'll project your insecurities onto the world. You may find yourself irritated by arrogance in others, but is it possible that a part of you fears being seen as arrogant? Or perhaps you're attracted to individuals who make you feel small because deep down, you don't feel big enough within yourself. The key here is not to aim for perfection, but to seek wholeness. It's about accepting every part of who you are, the light, the dark, and everything in between. When you accept yourself fully, you open the door to true love and meaningful connection. The shadow is not just the negative parts of you. It also encompasses the parts of you that are filled with untapped potential, your undiscovered talents, your hidden gifts. When you reject these parts, you fragment your being. This fragmentation creates invisible walls that block the deep connections you so desperately crave. I encourage you to take this truth with you. Every time you judge someone harshly, you are looking into a mirror. The traits that irritate you most in others are often reflections of something you haven't yet accepted in yourself. Your most intense reactions, whether they are filled with love or anger, are the key to unlocking the parts of you that are still waiting to be integrated. Don't shy away from them. Embrace because in these emotional reactions lie the most profound lessons of all. There's something profound about the way we react to others. It often has everything to do with us and very little to do with them. Perhaps when you feel frustration or contempt towards someone else's vulnerability, it's not just them that bothers you. Could it be that deep down you fear your ability? Is it possible that you despise their openness because you're not yet ready to face your own? The same principle applies to your relationship with ambition. If you criticize excessive ambition in others, maybe it's because you've suppressed your desires for success and recognition. There's something powerful here. Our relationships often reflect what we deny within ourselves, and the more we avoid these parts, the more they show up in the form of attraction, repulsion, or frustration. When we're irresistibly drawn to dominant personalities, for example, it's worth pausing and asking, is there a part of me that craves more power, more authority? A part of me that wants to be seen, to lead? This isn't about blaming yourself for feeling this way. It's about uncovering what's hidden deep within you, what you've been too afraid to acknowledge. And then there's the flip side, the need to save others. If you constantly choose partners who need saving, perhaps it's because you're projecting your own unmet need for care and attention. This isn't just an innocent attraction. It's an unconscious call to heal your wounds. The patterns we repeat in relationships, the ones that seem like they're always leading us to the same place, whether that's abandonment, control issues, or self-sabotage, are not random. They are the defense mechanisms of our shadow, our unconscious mind protecting us from feelings, memories, and vulnerabilities we haven't yet been able to face. These repeated cycles are a direct result of the parts of ourselves that remain unintegrated, parts we've tucked away, parts that we're too afraid to confront. And yet, these parts are not our enemies. They are messengers, guides, showing us where healing is needed. Let's get real here. If you find yourself withdrawing because you fear abandonment, you might be acting out an old wound before it even has a chance to surface. If you fear being controlled and start rejecting any suggestion or reasonable request from your partner, perhaps it's because you've never allowed yourself to feel fully in control, or maybe you've been hurt in the past by someone trying to dominate you. It's in these subtle moments of resistance that our unintegrated shadows show their power. But here's the truth. These defense mechanisms don't protect us. They trap us in cycles of fear and misunderstanding. Now, integrating your shadow requires courage, immense courage. It means being willing to look at yourself without judgment, to face the parts of yourself that you have ignored or rejected for so long. It's not easy. It requires deep honesty and vulnerability. Every time you feel a strong aversion towards someone or something, ask yourself, where do I find this in myself? This is not about blaming yourself, nor is it about self-criticism. It's an invitation to know yourself more deeply, to be aware of the inner landscape that drives your actions and reactions. We are all works in progress, and this journey of self-awareness is the first step toward real healing. Integration also means allowing yourself to express those suppressed aspects in safe, nurturing spaces. If you've repressed your creativity, for example, maybe it's time to take up painting or dancing, or even just find a quiet place to journal your thoughts. If you've denied your need for connection, open up to someone you trust. Let yourself be vulnerable. Over time, as you allow these once hidden aspects of yourself to come to the surface, you'll see them transform into sources of strength. No longer will they unconsciously sabotage your relationships or your sense of self. One of the most powerful exercises I can suggest is to write a letter to your shadow. Speak to it with compassion. Acknowledge its presence, thank it for what it has tried to offer you, and let it know that you're ready to integrate it with love and understanding. This inner dialogue can serve as the beginning of a profound reconciliation with yourself. It's in this acceptance, this willingness to embrace both light and shadow, that your transformation begins. The paradox here is beautiful. When you accept your imperfections, when you truly embrace all the pieces of you, that's when your light shines the brightest. Authenticity is born from this acceptance. And it is this authenticity that will open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections with others. The relationships that bring you the most fulfillment, the ones that are based on real love and mutual growth, are those where both people show up in their wholeness, not hiding any part of themselves, not running from the darkness, but welcoming it. It's when you no longer need anyone to complete you, because you already feel whole within yourself. You won't need to project your insecurities, your fears, or your unhealed wounds onto your partner anymore. Instead, you'll find peace in knowing that you've accepted your flaws, and you can now extend that same acceptance to the person standing next to you. Relationships aren't just about seeking comfort or happiness. They're the classrooms of life, the places where we learn, grow, and heal. Every conflict, every challenge, and every disappointment is an opportunity to understand yourself more deeply, to uncover the parts of you that need attention and healing. Love, when understood this way, is not a goal to achieve, but a path of self-awareness, of becoming whole. Until you embrace this deeper understanding, the same painful patterns will keep repeating, showing up with different faces, but the same familiar feelings. If you find yourself repeatedly ending up in relationships where you feel abandoned, that's not a coincidence. It's a reflection of an old wound, the wound of abandonment that is calling out to be healed. Or, if you find yourself gravitating toward partners who offer security, it might be because a part of you feels deeply insecure and is hoping they will fill that void. But this is the crucial lesson. Love is not a cure for your insecurities. When you stop seeing love as the source of your happiness and instead see it as the tool for your growth, everything changes. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. You see, relationships are the most intense mirror you'll ever look into. Every single person who enters your life has something to teach you. And as long as you keep repeating the same emotional patterns, you won't learn the lesson. The faces might change, but the lesson stays the same. Look closely at your romantic attractions. They carry messages too. They're clues about the parts of yourself that you've neglected or suppressed. Perhaps you admire someone's freedom because you've denied yourself the freedom to live fully. Or maybe you're drawn to someone's creativity because your creative spirit has been stifled for too long. These attractions, these intense feelings, are like maps, guiding you toward your untapped potential, toward the parts of you that are begging to be expressed. So, next time you find yourself drawn to someone, take a moment to ask, what is this person reflecting about me? And in that reflection, you'll find your path to greater self-awareness, deeper connection, and a more fulfilling love. Disappointments in love, as much as they can feel devastating and heart-wrenching, are, in truth, some of the most profound opportunities for personal growth. I've come to realize that each time a relationship ends, it's a moment where we are forced to confront not just the end of a connection, but a chance to turn inward and reflect on who we truly are and what we can learn from the experience. Yes, it's painful. The sting of a broken heart often feels like a wound that might never heal. But when the dust settles, you're left with a choice. You can choose to blame the other person, to harbor resentment and anger, to repeat the same cycle over and over, or you can make a courageous decision. You can look within and ask, what is this situation trying to teach me? I firmly believe that how we respond to this pain shapes whether we let it embitter us or let it refine us into wiser, more resilient individuals. The beauty lies in that choice, the incredible freedom in realizing that we have the power to decide what lessons we take from every disappointment. In my journey, I've learned that mature love doesn't seek perfection in a partner. It doesn't chase an idealized version of another person who meets all our expectations. Instead, mature love focuses on the shared growth of two people who, side by side, are committed to not just their happiness, but the happiness of the relationship as a whole. It's about a deep, unspoken understanding that both partners are constantly evolving. Love, when it's healthy and mature, doesn't shy away from conflict or struggle. It embraces them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge faced together, every disagreement, every moment of hurt becomes an invitation to expand, to break through personal limitations, and to heal together. Ironically, it is through this process of mutual growth that a deep, lasting happiness is born. You no longer depend on perfect circumstances or the perfect partner. Instead, you find peace and fulfillment in the growth itself, in the constant expansion of who you are, and in the beautiful mirror that the other person provides to reflect your truest self. It's a transformation, an evolution of both your heart and mind, and that's where the real happiness lies. Change, true change, begins when you stop blaming the world or others for your misfortune and start asking the right questions. For so long, I asked myself, why do I always end up with the wrong partner? It was a question that only kept me stuck in the victim role, drowning in a sea of frustration and helplessness. But the moment I shifted my mindset and started asking, why do I keep choosing these types of partners? Everything changed. That simple but powerful shift in perspective allowed me to reclaim my power. I realized I was no longer just a helpless bystander in my own love story. I was the creator of my experiences, the author of my relationships, and that's where my true strength lies. Of course, this requires courage, real courage. To see love as a path to personal growth means that we must face uncomfortable truths about ourselves. We have to question the deeply ingrained beliefs we've been holding on to, release old identities that no longer serve us, and be willing to change. It's a journey of self-awareness and self-empowerment. The truth is, the road to true love is not about finding the perfect partner. It's about becoming the perfect partner for yourself first. And the rewards, authentic, soul-satisfying relationships, deep self-awareness, and the ability to love freely, not out of neediness, but out of pure, genuine connection, are immeasurable. If you've ever found yourself repeating the same patterns, choosing the same kind of partner over and over, it's not a coincidence. These cycles are not random. They are clues, clear messages from your subconscious, pointing to unresolved wounds from your past that are begging to be healed. I know from my own experiences that when you feel drawn to people who make you suffer, it's because there's an old emotional scar that needs attention, one that you've been carrying with you for far too long. Similarly, if you constantly seek out partners who elevate you, it might be because there's a part of you that doesn't feel valuable enough to stand on your own. I'm convinced that once we can identify these patterns, we gain the power to break free from them and start creating healthier, more conscious connection. The truth is, as long as we remain blind to these patterns, we will continue attracting relationships that don't truly fulfill us, relationships that are only a reflection of our deepest fears, insecurities, and unresolved wounds. Toxic relationship patterns are like invisible cycles, silently repeating themselves with alarming precision, no matter how many times we change partners. We think that by moving on from one relationship to another, we're escaping the past. But in reality, the dynamics we experienced in one relationship will show up in the next if we haven't done the inner work. This isn't some cruel twist of fate, nor is it a coincidence. It's the result of deep programming patterns learned in childhood that shape how we approach love and relationships. If you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, where you had to perform or meet certain expectations to earn affection, you'll likely carry that belief into adulthood, unconsciously seeking constant validation. On the flip side, if affection in your childhood was often linked with criticism or conflict, you may find yourself gravitating toward relationships that feel familiar, even when they're toxic. We often mistake familiarity for safety, but in reality it's just the comfort of what we've always known, even if it causes us harm. What's even more heartbreaking is that our brains are wired to seek the familiar, even when the familiar is painful. This is why so many of us find ourselves leaving one toxic relationship only to enter another one that feels eerily similar. It's as though we're stuck in a loop that we can't break free from. The first step to breaking this cycle is developing self-awareness. We need to examine our relationship histories as if we're watching a movie. What themes keep playing out? Do you always end up feeling abandoned? Do you attract emotionally unavailable people? Do you find yourself losing your sense of self in the process? The answers lie in your past, in the emotional wounds you've been carrying, and in the beliefs you formed about love, worthiness, and connection. But once you shine a light on these patterns, once you become aware of them, you can begin to make different choices. And that's when true healing begins. It's a journey that requires self-compassion, patience, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. But on the other side of that journey is the possibility of a love that is deep, authentic, and based on mutual growth, a love that is worth every step of the healing process. These repeated cycles in our relationships are not mere coincidences. They are profound clues pointing directly to deep emotional wounds that remain unresolved within us. When we find ourselves continuously caught in toxic relationship dynamics, we must understand that behind every hurtful pattern is a limiting belief, one that has been ingrained in our subconscious over the years. For example, if you consistently attract people who cheat on you, it might be a reflection of an unconscious belief that you don't deserve loyalty or trust. Similarly, if you often feel controlled or trapped in relationships, it could signal an underlying belief that you're not capable of charting your path in life. These beliefs are like invisible magnets, continuously drawing to us experiences that reaffirm their existence, no matter how painful they may be. It's a heartbreaking truth that these emotional wounds are pulling us back into the same cycles over and over again. What's truly mind-blowing is how neuroscience supports this idea. These patterns we keep repeating are not just psychological, they are neurologically embedded within us. Over time, through constant repetition, we form strong neural connections that wire us into these patterns. This is why, even when we intellectually understand that these patterns are unhealthy, breaking free from them can feel like an insurmountable task. But I believe we have the power to rewire our brains and change our relationships with ourselves and others. It takes constant awareness and a fierce commitment to consciously create new experiences that contradict the patterns we've learned. It's not easy, but it is possible. A powerful and transformative exercise to start with is identifying your emotional triggers, those situations that spark intense and often disproportionate reactions. For example, a simple delay from your partner might trigger a deep fear of abandonment, or a casual comment about your appearance might open up a floodgate of insecurities. These triggers are not random. They are windows into your innermost wounds, revealing the places in your heart that need healing. Healing begins when you stop blaming others or circumstances for these reactions, and instead take responsibility for the patterns you've been carrying. This doesn't mean blaming yourself, it means acknowledging that you have played a role in creating and maintaining these cycles. The moment you can look at yourself without judgment, but with compassion, is when true change starts to happen. As long as you continue to see yourself as a helpless victim, someone constantly at the mercy of circumstances or the actions of others, you will remain stuck in the same toxic cycles. But when you recognize that you have a choice, when you understand that you are the one who has the power to change your relationship dynamics. That's when the transformation begins. It's about reclaiming your power, your agency, and your responsibility in shaping your own experiences. To break free from these patterns, reconnecting with your body is essential. Our relationship dependencies often operate in a similar way to other addictive behaviors. There are physical sensations, subtle yet powerful signals that precede these destructive patterns. It might feel like an intense rush of excitement or a false sense of comfort when you encounter the familiar pull of toxic relationships. But if you start paying attention to how these sensations feel in your body, you can begin to notice them before they take over. This self-awareness gives you the power to stop reacting automatically and, instead, choose a different path, one that leads you toward healing, not toward further pain. A crucial step in this process is setting boundaries, clear, firm, loving boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. If you've noticed that you tend to lose yourself in relationships, begin creating rituals and practices that help you stay grounded in your sense of identity and self-worth. If you find yourself repeatedly attracted to narcissistic personalities, it's time to define which behaviors you will no longer tolerate, no matter how enticing they may seem. Boundaries are not walls that separate us from others. They are acts of self-love, protecting our energy and our emotional well-being. They interrupt the destructive patterns that we've unknowingly allowed to run wild in our lives. The road to true transformation begins when you dare to choose the new, even when it feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. If you're used to the chaos of drama and emotional intensity, you might initially find calmness and stability in a relationship to be boring or unfulfilling. That discomfort is normal. It's simply the process of creating new neural connections, new ways to experience intimacy and connection. It's the discomfort that accompanies growth, the discomfort that comes when you step out of your comfort zone and challenge the patterns you've known for so long. But remember, breaking old patterns is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing, ever-evolving process. There will be setbacks, moments when the old temptations rise and try to pull you back into the familiar. And in those moments, it's easy to feel defeated. But I urge you to remember, every time you catch yourself slipping back into an old pattern and choose to go down a different path, you are reinforcing the new reality. Neuroplasticity, the brain's incredible ability to rewire itself, works in your favor. Each time you make a conscious decision to break the cycle, you strengthen the neural pathways that support your new way of being. Over time, these new connections become stronger, and the old, destructive patterns lose their power. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Ultimately, the goal is not perfection in your relationships. It's awareness that empowers you to truly choose the relationships that reflect the person you've become, the person you are right now. When you are no longer driven by the unconscious imprints of your past, you can create relationships that are a reflection of your current self, not the wounded version of you. That's when love becomes free. It's no longer something you need or crave. It's something you already have within you. When you learn to love yourself unconditionally, you stop looking for love outside of yourself. You stop searching for something to fill the emptiness you've been carrying around for so long. Because the truth is, love is not something you find, it's something you create. It's an energy, a way of being that you carry with you. When you live from this state of love, your relationships will no longer be a source of suffering. They will be an authentic expression of your inner truth and the deep love you've learned to cultivate for yourself. That realization will change everything. And when it does, your world will transform, one loving choice at a time. Love is not a distant goal to be attained. It is a path, a journey that begins deep within us. For too long, we've been raised with the belief that love is something that comes from the outside, something we passively wait for to happen to us, as if it's a force of nature that will one day find us if we're lucky. This narrative, often seen in movies or romantic tales, is beautiful in its idealism, but it positions us in a place of passivity and dependency. We sit back, waiting to be chosen, seen, loved. But the truth is, this perspective overlooks the essence of love itself. True love doesn't come from the outside. It arises from within you, from a well that never runs dry. It is not something you must extract from another person, nor is it a gift that you wait to receive. When you depend on others to provide you with love, you set yourself up for a life of scarcity. It's like being a vessel with cracks. No matter how much love is poured into you, it will never be enough, because love drawn from outside is always temporary, conditional, and limited by the capacity of others to give it. The problem with waiting for love to come to us from others is that it's never truly ours to begin with. It's like borrowing someone else's heart and calling it your own. The real transformation starts when you wake up to the truth that you are the primary source of your love. You don't need anyone's permission to love yourself. You don't need to meet any external conditions or accomplish some milestone before you can begin to care for yourself. Self-love is not a reward for being perfect. It is your birthright, your natural state of being. I believe that self-love is a revolutionary act, especially in a world that constantly teaches us to measure our worth by what we produce, how we look, or how successful we appear to others. It means honoring yourself even when you fail, not just when you succeed. It means treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer to a beloved friend. It means recognizing your worth, not based on validation from others, based on the simple truth that you are inherently valuable simply because you exist. As you nurture this relationship with yourself, something incredible happens. Your external relationships begin to shift. No longer will you approach others from a place of lack or inner yearning for something you believe is missing. Instead, you approach relationships from a place of abundance, of knowing that you already carry love within you. You no longer seek from others what you feel is absent in your own heart. Rather, you share the love you've cultivated, and in doing so, your relationships become spaces for mutual growth rather than for completion. No longer are you trying to find someone to make you happy. You are already happy, and you share that happiness freely. You don't expect anyone to heal your wounds, but you grow together, offering support, not seeking salvation. You become self-sufficient in your worth. And while you still appreciate the recognition of others, you are no longer dependent on it for validation. This shift changes everything, especially the kind of people you are drawn to. When you approach life from a place of inadequacy, you attract those who mirror your unresolved wounds, people who resonate with your insecurities and emotional gaps. But when you live from a place of inner wholeness, you naturally attract those who resonate with your self-love and emotional health. It's the difference between seeking someone who fulfills your emotional needs and attracting someone who aligns with your true essence. This is the real magic of self-love. It's not narcissism, as some may think. Narcissism stems from deep insecurity, from an inner void that must be constantly filled with external validation. True self-love, however, is born from a place of wholeness. It allows you to see yourself, to recognize and embrace your full humanity, and because of that, you begin to see others with more compassion, more understanding. You no longer project your unmet needs onto them, and as a result, your relationships become healthier and more authentic. A powerful practice that supports this transformation is consciously practicing self-compassion, especially when difficult emotions arise, whether it's fear, sadness, anger, or shame. Too often, we suppress these emotions or judge ourselves harshly for feeling them. But they are not mistakes to be fixed. They are simply part of our human experience. Meeting these emotions with acceptance, rather than resistance, is a radical act of love. It's about embracing the full spectrum of who you are, the messy, imperfect parts of you that have been conditioned to feel shame or rejection. When you practice self-compassion in these moments, it transforms your inner experience and, over time, changes the way you interact with the world around you. Remember, love is not a final destination, it's a daily practice. There will be days when loving yourself feels impossible, when old patterns of self-criticism or self-doubt resurface. But don't let these moments of struggle discourage you. Each time you choose love over judgment, each time you return to yourself after a moment of self-alienation, you are strengthening your ability to love more authentically. This is the essence of personal growth, constantly choosing love, even when it's hard. The most beautiful paradox is this: as soon as you stop searching for love outside of yourself, you realize that it has always been within you. You are like a fish searching desperately for the ocean while already swimming in it. Love has always been there, surrounding you, waiting for you to recognize it. When you finally understand this, it will change everything. Love is not something you seek, it's something you are. And when you truly embody this, your relationships stop being a source of suffering and become a space for genuine connection, growth, and mutual respect. Love, in all its purest forms, begins with you. When you love yourself unconditionally, the world reflects that love to you in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. As we wrap up today's conversation, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've shared. We've explored the power of self-love, the importance of taking responsibility for our emotional patterns, and the incredible transformation that happens when we stop seeking love from external sources and begin to cultivate it from within. But now, I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned today that you feel truly resonated with you? Perhaps it's about recognizing your worth or the idea that love starts from within. Whatever it may be, I invite you to share it with us in the comments below. Let's continue this journey together by practicing what we've learned. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support means the world, and we're so glad you're part of this community. Until next time, remember, true love starts with you.